InsideThunder.com. Powered by Wheeler Whitlock Insurance.
Well, I was really pleased with our guys. They did a great job tonight. That was a really difficult team to play against defensively with all their movement and cutting and spacing, and they really took the clock down. Almost inside of 5 seconds, just about every possession. And some of that had to do with maybe what they were trying to do, and some of it was we played pretty good defense. But I thought our defense, as the game wore on, they really did a good job. Our guys did of being disciplined. I thought in Minnesota we probably had too many fouls. I think 21 total fouls in the game, and I thought we did a better job discipline-wise there. And then I thought on the offensive end of the floor, I thought our guys really shared and passed the basketball. And Kevin had a couple of really unselfish plays where he had the ball and he could have taken a shot. He found Serge one time in the corner for a wide open three, and he also hit Dion for a wide open three. So, I thought overall it was a step in the right direction. I felt like our guys improved on some of the things we wanted to improve on defensively. And then I think on the offensive end of the floor is just, being balanced, having different guys to step up on a different night and be able to provide scoring for us.
Kevin, he's obviously been going through practice and everything like you've been saying how healthy he is, but was it good tonight to see him go up for a power dunk, do some stuff on that foot that he hasn't been able to do in a game setting? Yeah,
I thought it was good for him. He's, again, he in practice, we see flashes of that, from him. But he, like I said, he's been cleared. He's gone through everything. He's done some, amazing things in practice athletically. He looks like he feels really good physically. I was happy for him, at least as you mentioned, Anthony, in a game setting, he could do it. So I thought it was really positive. I was really impressed with his unselfishness, just his extra passing and his ability to get guys wide open shots. And I think when you've got a player of the level of Kevin, and he's certainly as efficient as he is offensively, and he's also making everyone else around him better. And I think I mentioned in the Minnesota game, there was times where guys got shots because he was on the floor and he created spacing. Tonight was a night where he brought people to him and he found people with the pass. And there's so much to his game offensively, obviously, besides being such a prolific scorer.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Robertson and how his defensive play seemed to spark a lot of some of the offense that you got?
Yeah, I thought we got stretched out a little bit there in the first and second quarter, where he was probably out a little bit too deep. It was creating some space and some opening for their team. And I think once we kind of figured out how they were playing, what they were doing, and we kind of switched certain actions, which really helped. But I thought in the second quarter, midway through that second quarter, when we opened the lead up, a lot of it had to do with Andre and his defense and the steals that we created. I think maybe we had 8 steals in the first half, so we were pretty active defensively. We got in the passing lanes. But there's a fine line between getting in the passing lanes and extending ourselves and giving up driving gaps and opportunities to get to the paint, and I thought Andre did a great job of being in the right position defensively to shut down some gaps and also using his length to get out and get some steals.
Coach, second game in a row where y'all shot the three pretty well and denied the three pretty well. Is that working for you well so far this season?
Well, I think I said before the game I thought we would be challenged defensively from the three-point line, and we needed to eliminate the threes for them. And I don't know what they made. I think 2 in the first half. They shot, I think, 23 or 28% from the three. We did a really good job of staying up and contesting and running them off the line, and that was, I thought, really important tonight because of the way they shoot the basketball from so many different positions. Yeah, I think the thing is you got to build back out to the three-point line. If you get out there to start with, you create all sorts of driving gaps and opportunities. And when you've got a really good shooter behind the three-point line and you're running at the guy, there's a good chance and good likelihood that guy's going to get beat off the dribble. So if you don't have help built into those spots, you're then trying to rotate from different areas on the floor and you start giving up a lot of corner threes. So the biggest thing is to start in help, and then, as you mentioned, build out to the three-point line and take that away.
Coach, Jeremy Griffin, InsideThunder.com. You talked a little bit about Kevin and some of the nuances that you were noticing in his game different. Is there anything else that stuck out to you between these last two games with any other players maybe you weren't expecting or was surprised?
No, I think with Russell and Kevin, the one thing with those two guys is because they're such dynamic offensive players and they have such different. I mean, tonight you saw Russell, just going into the post there in the second half, and they didn't double team him. And against Minnesota, they double teamed him, and he found guys and got guys shots. Today he was playing one-on-one from the post, and he's creating problems. And then all of a sudden they start to double him. But the one thing to me with Russell and Kevin that's been so impressive with them being as terrific and great a scorers they are is their unselfishness and their willingness to find the open man and create easy baskets for these other guys. And they're very, very willing passers, and I really admire that, because when you're such a great, prolific offensive player, it's easy to I can make this shot or I can make that shot, but they're really doing a great job of trying to help our team find the best available shot.
The way you're parsing out Durant and Westbrook's minutes this preseason, keeping them together, and then it seems like you're trying to get the starters some minutes with them and the backups some minutes. Is that kind of your strategy to get different?
Well, I wanted to get some different. I wanted to put Dion in there against Minnesota in the first quarter with those guys. Today we put a DJ in there, let DJ play the point, and we moved Russell to the 2 for about 4 or 5 minutes there in that first quarter. And lineup-wise, just maybe having a package for Russell when he does slide over there to the 2 some. And we didn't play that lineup a lot of minutes tonight, but I think it's something that we can look at. We really haven't done much as of yet, but we will with Kevin at the 4 and going a little bit smaller in certain situations. But I wanted to get Josh Eustace on the floor tonight because he didn't play at all against Minnesota. We got Steve Novak in. I wanted to see what that looked like with Kevin and Russell, just going a little bit smaller and putting Steve at the 4 spot and really spacing the floor with a lot of shooting. Played 2 point guards today with Russell and DJ early. Wanted to see Josh Eustace with some of those guys too. So Dion came in and played. So we've gotten a lot of different looks. I'm not saying we've had extended minutes, but we've gotten a lot of different looks that we can look at guys playing with different, just different players in different lineups.
In terms of Kevin's passing, we obviously are used to seeing him be a pretty unselfish star anyway, but do you see some of it being just that he's deferring while feeling his way back into this by just getting back into his own comfort zone as well? Or no, just
I think this is just, and how I feel, and I think Kevin probably feels the same way too. When you're that great of a scorer, okay, you command people to designate another player to you defensively. And a lot of times he can almost be defended by 2 people, okay? I think he understands that when he's a willing passer and he now gets the ball to the open man, it puts the defense in a bind, because if he's going to be a willing passer and he's getting the ball to guys that can take and make shots that they're comfortable with, it really adds a totally different dimension. Now, I think for him, he can play in a lot more space. He can play one-on-one. A couple times he got the ball, at the high post area, and he shot the ball, and there was no one really around him. He's got some space, I think, to maneuver and operate a little bit more because he has been so willing with the pass. And I think Kevin's always been that kind of guy. He's an unselfish player, and I think Russell's a very unselfish player too. And both of them are really smart. So I think they both understand that. Gosh, I don't need to take all these challenge contested shots. If I include these other guys, it's going to even make things better for myself, and I think they've done a terrific job with that.
Coach, I know this was a preseason game and the crowd wasn't totally here tonight. It wasn't a capacity crowd, but what was your impression of the introductions and the hoopla and how the crowd received you and the players in this first preseason? Yeah,
I thought it was great. I mean, it's a great environment, and obviously you can tell the place gets very, very loud. For the amount of people to show up for a preseason game was pretty remarkable. I certainly really appreciate all the support, the people coming out to watch these guys play. It was awesome. I think, as you mentioned, once we start getting into the regular season, certainly it's going to be, I think, a terrific home court advantage.
Russ, defense was pretty suffocating tonight. What allowed you guys to get in the passing lanes and turn defense into offense tonight?
Just being solid. I thought we did a good job of just taking away the three-point shot, which they're very good at. I'm using. And did that, for 48 minutes, which was great.
Was this an example of how devastating you guys' length and athleticism can be on that end of the floor?
Oh, definitely, especially on the defensive end. Offense is not a problem for us, but defensively is a step, where we need to make a step in the right direction, and tonight we did.
Hey, Russ, Coach Donovan talked a little bit about you playing the 2 tonight. How did you feel in that position, and did it feel good to you?
Yeah, it's not my first time playing the 2.
Right.
So it feels fine. Nothing unusual. Our offense, every position is interchangeable, so you can kind of play all positions. Give me an opportunity to kind of play off the ball a little bit, post up, and do other things.
Did you enjoy the change? I know it's the same as what you did in college, but did you enjoy it in this platform?
I played 2 before, prior years too, so it's not nothing new. It's just something that is new for the new coaching staff and the new people here.
What's been particularly effective for Dion so far early in camp? Seems like he's been very efficient.
Just playing this game. I think now he may have his legs back and finally put himself in position to be ready to play. And as you can see, him being ready to play puts us in a great position, put him in a great position to score the basketball.
Can you just talk about playing in front of the crowd, home crowd, first time in a long time, and also that KD dunk?
It was great, man. The crowd is great. The crowd is amazing, even through preseason. Packed house. And as for Kevin, man, that just shows that he's back to his normal self and back to dominating and back to doing what he do.
Russ, there was a point in the third quarter where you went down on the block. I think you scored, and Billy said, keep doing that. You did it 2 more times. You scored 2 more straight times. He said, keep doing that. There's a lot of focus on the offense, how you guys are going to change. Sometimes is it just as simple as
just reading? Just reading. Post up is a huge part of my game. It's something that I want to exploit and use to my advantage. Tonight it was just a night me using it and making some shots and making plays out of it.
Yesterday, Billy talked a little bit about how he's not trying to overhaul you guys offensively. It's more concepts was the word he used. And he used a phrase, he wants to move the floor. What is that for dummies like us? What does that mean?
It just means spacing and put people in the right position to be able to score basketball. And then as for players, we got to make basketball reads with spacing and with the play calling and different things we have. It puts everybody in position to be able to score, puts our offense into position to be able to make easy shots, and moving the basketball is hard to guard us that way.
Was there a little bit of disappointment from you in the third quarter when you had to come out?
Say it again?
Was there a little bit of disappointment from you in the third quarter where you had to come out?
No.
You fed Ennis on a little transition. Does it feel good to get a little bit of on-court chemistry with him? You haven't, had a pick and roll type of guy like that, big guy in the past.
Oh, he has great hands. He can finish. He's strong. He knows how to play. So offensively, it makes it a little easier on me because he's always in the right spots and he's just a natural born scorer. So, when you have bigs that make your job easier, we got, Nick, Serge, Steve, and Mitch, they all make us look great by, catching the ball and you know what to do with it.
Kevin, this is the first time in a long time everyone's been healthy. Is that something you guys don't talk about, just so you don't jinx anything?
Yeah, we don't talk about it. When we're on the court, we just try to focus on what we need to focus on, man, and not playing fear, and if it happens again, whatever happens, we gotta live through it and move on from it, because it happens in this game and we can't hold our heads down. So, but like I said, we just try not to think about it and just keep moving forward.
You think the experience of all that from last year really maybe solidified some things in your game and the rest of the team and how to handle that kind of adversity?
Yeah, adversity is always tough, but once you know it's coming in, it's a little bit easier to endure. But we've been through a lot, and that made us stronger. So, we try not to look in the past or in the future, just try to worry about the present and, just take care of that and everything else will be fine.
On the breakaway dunk, could you kind of feel the crowd kind of anticipating like they haven't seen you do that in a while, like they're kind of waiting for that moment?
Yeah, I don't like that feeling though. I remember I was in 9th grade. I was one of those bench players that would come in and the crowd would cheer, and I hated that. And so no, I really like it. But I'm glad they're cheering for me. But that's a normal play for me.
As you noticed, it's hard not to know. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but it seemed to me like you could have really skied for that one, and it felt like you maybe held back a little. Are you still kind of measuring it out a little bit, like not trying to explode?
That's what I usually do. I'm not a huge fast break dunker. That's what I usually do, and Yeah, so yeah, you guys are making me feel like, damn, I'm not supposed to have bad days or irregular dunks. You know, shit, I was doing this before I was hurt. So, well, yeah, I felt the same, man. I mean, you won't see a windmill or a 360 from me. I'm kind of basic.
Red River prediction for tomorrow?
I don't want to talk about it.